Hey Divination, thank you for joining us in this live stream. Today we'll show you how to place your custom header below each page's first Divi section, and we'll use the theme builder in the Bistro Layout Pack. So if you haven't checked out the Bistro Layout Pack yet, make sure that you check out one of the links in the description below. And if you're non-elegant themes member yet, make sure that you check out the product page of Divi, where you can discover everything for yourself and see how you like it. And you can also find a link to that in the description below. So without wasting any time, let's get to it. Alright, so let's start off by taking a quick look at the Bistro Layout Pack, which we'll use within this live stream. So if you go to elegantthemes.com/layouts, you'll see all of the different layout packs that come with Divi for free. And if you scroll down, you'll come across the newest layout pack. So the newest layout packs, it came out, I think, about 3 weeks ago. And if you click on it, you will see all of the different layouts that are included within this layout pack. These are all available in Divi for free, and you can view the live demo by clicking on the blue button. This will redirect you to a live website where you can discover all of these beautiful layouts for yourself and see if you want to use them on your WordPress website. Now, in this use case, a live stream will use the layout pack style of the Bistro Layout Pack to create our tutorial. And what we'll do is we'll place the custom header that we built using the Divi theme builder below each page's first Divi section, and we'll do that automatically. So as soon as we add it to our template, it will automatically appear below each page's first Divi section. As you can notice over here, we have the hero section first, and then we have the menu, and this will automatically happen. If you go through all of the steps of this tutorial, now we'll go through all of those steps within this live stream, but you can also go to the blog post, which I have mentioned in the description below, and there you can follow everything step by step. We're also using some jQuery code, and you can grab that within that post. All right, so this is, for instance, on the landing page, we have this kind of outcome. Let's see what it looks like on the different pages. So here we are on the menu page, gallery page, about page. As you can see, it's automatically below the first Divi section of each page. Let me show you the outcome in smaller screen sizes as well. And I also want to say hi to everyone in the comments section. I see a few people have already joined on Facebook and on YouTube. Hi to Hassan, to Uncle Social, to Monique, and Sibusiso, hope I said that right. Welcome. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the chat. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys try this tutorial out with me. So this is the outcome on smaller screen sizes. If I click this menu item, a list of my menu items appears. Now, the first thing you will need to do is go to your WordPress website. Of course, I'm assuming that you've set up your website so you have a few pages in place that you can get started with. And over here, I have the template that I've used to show you guys a preview. So I'm just going to unassign this template really quick so I can create a new one to go through with you guys step by step. All right, so I'm going to add a new template over here. If I click on add new template, I can use this on all my pages and click on create new template. So I'm using this on all my pages. You can make this work for product pages, for instance, as well. The code that we'll be using, so the jQuery code to automatically place it below each page's first Divi section, works on any kind of page you're building with Divi. But for now, we're just adding it to all our pages. So the approach would be kind of similar, but for the pages, if you just want to add it to your pages only, not to the other kind of templates, you can just follow along this tutorial and it will work on any kind of website you're building. Doesn't necessarily need to be made with the Bistro Layout Pack, for instance. All right, so once you have the template here, you can start building the custom header by just clicking on it and click on Build Custom Header. All right, so over here we have three options. We're going to start building our header from scratch. So I'll just click on this blue button over there. And over here, you will notice a section that's already there. We're going to modify this section by opening the section settings. Let me just shrink the size of this a little bit. And I'm going to change the background color into white. Well, the default background color of any section is white, but we're just adding it to make sure. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, so this is the design that we're looking to recreate, right? And to make sure that there's no space between the row and the section, we're going to remove the default top and bottom padding of our section by just adding 0 pixels to the top and bottom padding in the spacing settings. And we're also going to add a border to the top and the bottom. We'll just use 1 pixel. We'll change the border color into the following color code, matches the Bistro Layout Pack. We'll do the same for the bottom border. All right, and we'll also add a CSS ID to the section in the advanced tab. So this is the one that I'm using. I'm using the same CSS ID for within the jQuery codes to make sure that the header appears below each page's first Divi section. So this is an important part to this tutorial. And the last thing we'll need to change is the Z index of our section. So we definitely want to make sure that it appears on top of all page content. Because sometimes, depending on how your page is structured, you could have some overlapping content. And if that's the case, you still want to make sure that whatever is overlapping shows below the navigation, so the header. And to do that, we'll just increase the Z index. We're using the following value for that. And you can find all of the color codes, all of the steps in the blog post mentioned in the description below, or you can just read it off the screen as well. That works too. All right, so now that our section settings are done, I can add a row. Let me just go to the comment section really quick just to see if you guys have any questions. So if you have any questions, make sure that you leave a comment over there. So far, it seems like people are just following along, which is good. So time to start adding our row. And we're using the following column structure. So let me show that once again. This is the column structure that we're using for it. And without adding any modules yet, I'm going to open the row settings and going to the sizing settings over here. I'm going to use gutter width, so I'll enable use custom gutter width over here, and I'm using a value of 1. This will just remove all of the space between the columns, and then I'm also going to increase the width to 100% and the max width as well, and this will just allow the row, as you can notice, this allows the row to take up the entire width of the section container. And we're also removing the top and bottom padding because this line over here is a column border, and to make sure that it touches the section top and bottom, we'll need to make sure that the top padding is removed here. Top and bottom padding is removed, but we'll compensate by adding some custom padding to the columns instead. Now, I also want to make sure that the items appear next to each other on smaller screen sizes, as you can see over here. And I also want to center the column content, so these are centered and they take the other columns into account. And to do that, I'm going to add 2 lines of CSS code to the row's main element display flex. Allows the columns to appear next to each other on smaller screen sizes, and we're aligning the items within the columns. All right. Now, once the general row settings are done, we can open the column 1 settings over here. And as I mentioned before, we'll need to compensate a bit for the space that we removed, just to give our menu a tiny bit of space to breathe. And to do that, I'll just add 20 pixels to the top padding and 20 pixels to the bottom padding over here. And I'm also adding the border, so the right border over here, which uses the same color as the section borders that we added in the section settings. All right, so I'm using 1 pixel. I'm changing the border color. Now we can start adding modules. All right, so in the first column, we'll use an image module. Let me just grab an icon over here. We'll use this one. You can use whatever logo you want, obviously. And I'm just going to change the image alignment to center. And I'll play around with the sizing across different screen sizes. So I'm using 4 VW on desktop. So the VW stands for the viewport width. And this will just help us keep the same kind of menu across different screen sizes when it comes to desktop. So it will just take into account your visitor's viewport width. We're using 7 VW on tablet and 12 VW on phone. All right, on to the second column. And before I go, let me just see if you guys have any questions. No questions, so I can continue. In the second column, we'll need a menu module. Let me just select a menu of my choice. Over here, I have one that is originally called menu. The creativity there is amazing. I'm going to move on to the design tab of this module and choose centered for the layout. I'm also skipping uploading a logo over here. Now, if you're just looking for a way to add the header below your first Divi section, bear with me. We're just making sure that the entire picture is matching the Bistro Layout Pack. This is a use case live stream based on the Bistro Layout Pack. So whatever kind of website you're working on, so if you want to apply this technique, it will work on whatever kind of website, whatever kind of design you're working with. The only two important things are the section CSS ID that we've added in one of the previous steps, and the jQuery code that we'll add using a code module. And you can also find the jQuery code in the blog post, which I have mentioned in the description. All right, so next we're modifying the menu text. I'm using cabin over here as a font, and let me just change the menu text color as well, matching the Bistro Layout Pack. And for you guys that want to use this right away without having to recreate it, or if you're in a hurry, you can find the JSON file in the blog post as well. So I'm changing the menu text size here too, 16 pixels for desktop, 15 pixels for tablet, and 14 pixels for phone. So the usual changes. And I'll use 1.8 EM for the menu line height. Then I'll go to the drop-down text settings. I'll change the background color into white. And this will just assure us that the drop-down menu is also white, overlapping all page content. And we're also changing the line color into that same dark blue, grayish kind of color. And let's change the hamburger icon color as well over here in the icon settings. And that's it for our second module in column 2. On to the next and last column, where we'll need a button module. Over here, make sure that you add the copy of your choice. Move on to the design tab and change the button alignment to center. Now we're going to style the button using custom styles over here, so I'm going to enable that. I'll use 13 pixels for the text size. Let me change the text color as well into this color code, which is again the same. We have a favorite color over here, in line with the Bistro Layout Pack's design style. We're using a white background color, and 2 pixels for the button border width, and we're using a white button border color in the default state. And on hover, we're adding another color. Let me just preview the effect on this button that we're achieving over here. So this is the outcome we're aiming for. And we're also reducing the button border radius to 0 pixels. We're increasing the letter spacing to 2 pixels. We're using cabin again as the button font, semi-bold as a button font weight, and we're also enabling uppercase over here. Now let's go to the spacing settings and we'll add a bit of padding. So 16 pixels for the top and the bottom, and 24 pixels for the left and right side. And we're going to enable the responsive options over here to reduce the left and right padding on smaller screen sizes, just to make sure that the button doesn't break into 2 lines. Now we'll go to the box shadow options over here. I'm going to use this option. I'm going to reduce this to 0, 0, keep this as 0 as well. And we'll change the spread strength to 2 pixels in the default state and 6 pixels on hover. We'll use the following shadow color. Voila. So here you see the difference. So we're using this box shadow to create that nice effect that you were able to see over here. Nice transition as well. All right, now that we have our custom header, it's time to make the magic happen. We'll use a code module for it. Let me just add it to the second column, but it doesn't really matter where you add it within your row. And you can grab the jQuery code lines in the blog post, which I've put a link to in the description below, or you can just read it off the screen. But important to do is adding the script tags first, and then within those script tags, you'll need to add the following lines of jQuery code. Just give me 1 sec. I'm gonna just double check something really quick. I don't know why this is right. Better. So this is the code you'll need, and I'm just going to save it and show you guys. So this is our new template. If I refresh this and just exit, so this is the template we've created. Let me refresh this page, and it's displaying below our hero section. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Maybe will you leave us the CSS code when done, just in case? Yeah, you can find the CSS code in a blog post that I've mentioned in the description below. So that's the initial tutorial, the written one, where you can find all of the color codes as well. So let me just show you guys what we've done over here. Basically, the custom header over here, the CSS ID that we're using, is linked to the section. And what we're doing is we're taking that entire container, so section container, and we're placing it after the ETBB section 0. So that's on every page you're working on with Divi, that's going to be the first section of that page. That's the class that it'll contain. So what this does is it automatically places the header you've created below that section, whatever kind of content that section may have on each unique page. It'll contain this CSS class. Right. Do you guys have any more questions? If so, leave them now, and I'll try to answer them. And if not, then I'm happy you guys stuck around and watched this tutorial. All right, so I don't see any more questions. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and we hope that you're enjoying this ongoing Divi design initiative where we try to put something extra into your design toolbox each and every week. See you in the next video or live stream. Bye.